To another Codewars challenge. This one's a level 7. We're doing it in Python. And as always, I highly recommend you try it out before watching the video, and that's the best way to learn. And the video is just kind of something to fall back on if you get stuck. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to get a decimal part of a given number. So if you're given the number 2.4, return the 0.4. If you're given a number negative 0.2, just return the 0.2. So we're just trying to get everything after the decimal. So this is kind of tricky. What I'm going to do is turn it into a string, chop out the decimal, and then sort of turn it back into a float. So let's see if we can get this. So I got some scratch paper here. Let's see what our variable is going to be in. So let's say n is equal to 2.4. So what I'm going to do is turn it into a string. And then from there, I'm going to split on the decimal, right? So there's only going to be one decimal, so you're going to take the second part of that, okay? And then you're going to turn that back into a decimal. So I'm adding the period back in. Okay, so I run that, and actually can throw a 0 on this. And then we're going to turn that back into a float. Okay, so then you get basically you get everything after that. So taking into a string, splitting a string. Again, that part right here. So if I take this into a string and then I split, what this does is it turns it into an array or in a list, and this becomes your splitter. So that would be where it chops into two parts. So as you can see there, now I have a list of two strings. You're always going to only have two here. If they promise you of decimal, then you're always going to have that. So you can always just grab that second part. Then it's just a matter of, again, adding the 0 point to the string itself, and then turning that back into a float. Okay? So let's try this out. Now this might fail if you're never, if you're given a number that does not have a decimal. So if there is no period, it would blow up in that case. Sure enough, let's see what happened here. Okay, index out of range. And I'll be darned if they didn't do it. Let's see what I'm given here. Okay, so I think what we'd have to do here is if there is no decimal, right? So they're doing an integer here at 10, and we are doing that right there. So let me show you what's happening here. So n is 10 in this case, and when you turn that into a string, and you try and split on any kind of decimal, because there isn't one, you're only going to get an array of one thing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to index into 2, right? So if I do a 1 here, there's my index error list out of range. So I think there's 2, but there's only 1 there. So what I need to do is save this as a variable. I don't know, in parts. And then if that length is 1, return 0, okay? So we'll grab that, we'll grab just this part right here, and I'll have a variable. We'll say in parts is equal to that, and then we return 0, or what? If the length of in parts is 1, return 0. Otherwise, return chop it up. So let's try this out. All right, so we got the edge case kind of handled here. And so we can kind of do a full submission here, and it looks like we got it.